Hey team, Katie here from Equestrian Movement, and today I wanted to share with you an experience that I've recently had of overcoming my own lack of faith and confidence in my ability in something new that I was working on. So if you've been following us on the podcast, you'll know that I've spent the last 7 years trying to teach myself how to run, and I can now say that I'm a runner. So starting out, I used to be the kid that was on the hockey field, and if the ball was outside of the reach of the hockey stick, there was no way I was chasing it. I could hands down say that I am not a runner. And so it's been one of those little things that I've been fixated on for the last 8 or so years, is that I downloaded the Catch to 5K app and I really wanted to complete it. The Catch to 5K is an 8-week exercise program to take you from not being able to run at all, basically just a minute, to being able to go for a run for half an hour. And so I would get to week 7 and then something would happen, like my back would get sore, or there'd be like a little niggle somewhere, and so I'd stop because I didn't want to injure my body trying to reach this goal that I personally had I didn't want to injure my body trying to reach this goal that I had, because it wasn't something that was incredibly important to me. Like, there's other ways of getting that cardio exercise, like riding a bike, riding the horses, going swimming, those kinds of things. So I kind of like ebbed and flowed into different opportunities for doing cardio and never really fully committed to properly running. And so I spent the last 8 years kind of picking up the app, having a crack at it, getting ways into it, and then taking a break from it and thinking it's just not for me. I'm not good enough. I'll never be a runner. It's not something that I can do. It's just not my physique. It's not my personality. And so that's one of the things that can happen when we're riding horses that, really limits our potential as well, is that you kind of like pick up learning to ride horses because you really enjoy horses and you like being around them. And you find out how hard it is to do all the work that's required, and then you kind of doubt yourself and you doubt your ability to do it. And then, so over a period of time, what started to happen is I found other little ways of keeping myself to stick at it. So I downloaded Pokemon Go on my phone, and that was probably the biggest hurdle, is that I could play Pokemon Go and keep running without counting down the seconds between like when my next walk break was. And so it was a great motivation for me to actually get out and do it. And then the weeks that I didn't feel like running, I still wanted to go out and catch those Pokemon, because you get like, that internal dopamine hit of catching Pokemon that you hadn't gotten previously. And sometimes they'd have like little tasks that you can complete, and so it's like getting these task achievements while I was out running, which inspired me and motivated me to keep running. And so what I managed to do is actually complete the 30 minutes. I can now run for 30 minutes. And so I had to take that moment and sit with it and say, actually, this is for me. I can do this. Look, I completed the program. Am I going to be the fastest runner, the world's best runner, or, put myself in, like one of those running for charity events? I don't even know what they're called. No, I'm not a great runner. But it was something that I was telling myself that I couldn't do, and so I kept throwing these obstacles in my way because I kept telling myself that I wasn't a runner and I wouldn't be able to do it and I couldn't achieve it and I couldn't complete it. And so it did take getting myself to that end point, finding different ways of motivating it and motivating myself and making it easier for me to go, look, I did it. I can do this. This This is within my reach. This is within my ability. And these are the skills I need. I've practiced them and now I can do it. And now I am a runner. And this is quite often the thing that we lack as horse riders. Like, you maybe have been riding for 2 years, 10 years, or 50 years, and you can be in your head, because horse riding can go, either way some days, with depending on the weather and what your horse is doing and what they're experiencing and what you're asking of your horse, is that we can quite often come away from it feeling like we're not good enough and feeling like we're never going to achieve it. And so you do have to have that moment where you look at other people that are just starting out. And so that's one of the things, is that when you're looking at the questions that a new rider is asking, you can say, oh wow, you've got a lot to learn, because you can see, all of those gaps in learning that they had to get through to get to where you are. And so just looking at these questions that a beginner horse rider has, or even an intermediate horse rider has, being able to see that you know the answers to these things, and being able to see, those internal shifts that they're going to have to be able to get to where you are at with your riding, that really helps to consolidate. Oh yeah, actually I'm doing okay. Like, am I ever going to be at the Olympics? No. I'm going to put my hand up and say, no, I'm never going to be at the Olympics. However, can I see, where I'm at as a horse rider, and everything that I've learned, and all of the knowledge and information that I have to bring to the table? Yes, I have been through a lot to get to the point that I am at, and I have learned a lot to get this point as well. I can guarantee that you have as well. You just have to look in that rear view mirror, and you have to just, take that moment to see how far you've come. You might be doing the same exercises that you were when you first started out, because when we first start out, there is a really big leap in learning and knowledge. So we're learning something new all of the time. We're learning how to balance, we're learning how to rise, we're learning how to steer, we're learning how to communicate with the horse. And then once we've got that, we're learning how to canter, we're learning how to jump, we're getting used to taking our horses out on trail rides. So there's like so much growth to happen within those first couple of years, that it then starts to plateau, because your growth then is a refinement of what you already know. So it might not even be that you're doing anything new or you're doing anything more challenging. It can be that you're going through a phase of refining and understanding what you already know on a deeper level. So for example, if I tried to teach a beginner to halt, you take a deep breath out, relax into your seat, drop your shoulders. You want to experience your body ceasing of movement, so that it's communicating to the horse the ceasing of movement. Then I would completely blow their brain, and they wouldn't be able to do it. So the first time that we learn how to halt, it's 2 reins mean stop. Simple as that. Pull the reins, horse stops. But we all know, if we've been in the industry long enough, is that you can pull those 2 reins as much as you want. If your horse does not want to stop, it does not stop. And so that's part of your evolution as a rider. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's an increase in complexity of what you're actually doing. It means that there's an increase in complexity of those basics that you have had to learn over and over and over again. And so that's what you really want to be looking back on, and you want to be seeing how far you've come within your own refinement by looking at maybe somebody that's new and seeing all of the things that they don't know, and just remembering yourself when you didn't know that. Remember those experiences, those aha moments that you had where you overcame a particular riding block, and then you will say to yourself, hey, actually, maybe I'm not doing so bad at this, maybe this is for me, maybe I can do this. And it will give you a rejuvenated effort output to continue with your riding and the work that you're doing with the horses. If you can just have a quick look in your rear view mirror and see, even though you might not be doing harder exercises, you can look at how you have refined what you have already known. That in itself is improvement, and it's worthy of celebrating, and it's worthy of acknowledging that you did that and you put the hard work in and you are good enough and you can continue to do this work with your horse. That's it from me for today. Until next time, happy trails.